All right, guys, welcome back. So, February. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I just tried to sing to you guys. I am so sorry. February is all things self care, self compassion. We are really digging into this, and I'm really excited because February is the month of love. But hey, we need to love ourselves first, right? So, welcome back. Today, we are talking about how we can create a self care ritual that actually sticks, that we'll actually keep doing, and that we will continue with and feel good about, right? So, welcome, beautiful souls. Welcome back to this talk, this place where we talk all things midlife, self care, and surviving perimenopause without completely losing it. Today, like I said, we are talking about how to create that self care ritual that actually sticks, that you actually want to do, right? So, because let's be honest, most of us have tried many different ways of self care, but how many of you are still sticking with it, right? How many of you actually do it? That's another story. We'll talk about that another day. Now, let me be real with you for a minute. For years, my idea of self care was, finishing the kids' leftovers in the car before racing to the next cold, icy arena. Cold half eaten chicken nuggets or a little bite of leftover hash browns. Yummy, delicious. That crushed granola bar that was covered in dust wedged between the seats. Sure, why not? That's a special treat. It was basically it made me feel like I was just the drive-through version of myself, and self-care was just like an easy fast fix. And you know what? That is not ideal. That is not taking care of yourself. That is not nourishing yourself. So today we are going to break this cycle, right? I am going to show you why self-care is so hard to stick, and more importantly, we're going to learn how to create a ritual that actually works for you. No guilt, no perfectionism, just real doable habits that make you feel like you're a freaking human again. Okay? That's the plan. So let's dive in. Let's get this conversation started. Okay? Hold on, I need a sip. It is dry in here. So, number one, why is self care so hard to stick to? It's a good question. So let's start with the obvious question. Why do you feel like self care is so hard for you to stick to? Well, these are some of the answers that we got. We think that it has to be this ginormous, elaborate thing. Somewhere along the lines, we started believing that self care, what it meant was, the bubble baths, the candles, the full blowout, the 10-step self care routine. Truth is, ladies, self care doesn't have to be some ginormous event. It just has to be intentional. That's the most important part, that you are intentionally caring for yourself. The other thing that I heard a lot is, I feel guilty. Raise your hand if you've ever thought, oh my gosh, I should be doing something productive instead of this, right? Yep. How many of you have had to wash the dishes so that you could sit down and read a book? Me. We've been trained into believing that taking care of ourselves is some sort of selfishness, right? When in reality, self care is what helps us show up better for the people we love, right? It really does. The other thing I heard a lot of is, we're stuck in this perfectionism. Ever tell yourself, I'll start meditating when I do have the full 30 minutes to sit and do it properly. Okay. Spoiler here, guys, that 30 minutes will never show up. It's never going to show up. So stop trying to make it perfect. Or, I've heard this too. If I can't do a full workout, why bother? It's this all or nothing thinking that is such a self-care killer at this point, right? So, how do we begin to fix this? Well, let's talk about the 5 steps to creating a self-care ritual that will actually stick, right? What are they? How do we do this? Give you the information. It's coming at you. Grab your pen and pencil. Number 1, start small. We are not going to go from zero to self care goddesses overnight. Instead of thinking, I need to overhaul my entire routine, start with one small habit. that you can implement right now that's going to give you a little bit of self-love. For example, instead of saying, I'm going to meditate for 20 minutes every morning and, I'm going to be perfect at it. Try saying, I'm going to take 3 deep breaths before I start my day. That is a small habit that you can definitely implement. And it's way easier to keep and build momentum off of than saying right away, you got to get up 20 minutes early and do a massive meditation, right? Number 2, choose what feels good for you. This is your ritual. This is not mine. This is not the neighbors. It's not the co-workers. This is yours. If you absolutely hate journaling, please don't force yourself to sit down and journal. If you'd rather go for a walk than do yoga, then go for a walk. Maybe your self-care is sipping your coffee in silence for 5 minutes and leaving your phone away so that you can actually just take time for yourself. That actually counts, guys. That is taking care of yourself, right? The more you enjoy what you're doing, the more likely you are to stick with it. So find things that you enjoy. Number 3, anchor your habit. Okay, one of the easiest ways to make self-care a habit is to actually attach it to something that you're already doing, right? I've talked about this before. We talked about this last week. So a big example here is while your coffee is brewing, do a quick stretch in the kitchen, or before you brush your teeth, look in the mirror and say a kind word to yourself. Or, after you shower, take an extra 30 seconds to put that lotion on and massage it into your body and tell your body that you love your body, or do it as an act of love, not as like, oh, I got to put lotion on and my skin is so dry and gross, right? Okay, how many of you have done that? Hands up. Me. Linking these new habits to existing ones make it so that they already are automatic. They just happen. Number 4, engage your senses. Self-care rituals stick better when we feel good about them. So use your senses, make this experience the most enjoyable you can. For example, maybe you add a drop of, your favorite essential oil to your lotion before you put it on because it smells divine and you feel so good. Maybe you want to light a candle while you're writing in your journal, or maybe you play your favorite music while you do your skincare routine at night and you dance around a little bit. Like when your brain gets to associate self-care with pleasure, it stops feeling like this task that I gotta put into my life to take care of me. And it starts to feel like, oh my God, I'm so lucky. I get to take care of myself this way. I love this. I love this for me, right? Number 5, be flexible. Listen, guys, life is going to happen. You're not always going to be able to have your perfect morning routine. There's going to be moments when you can't, and that's okay. It's okay to be flexible, right? If you don't have the time for that full morning routine, maybe you just do one small piece of it. Maybe, like this morning, I didn't have time for my full morning routine before I had to jump on a call. So I did a mini meditation, I did a mini journaling, and I just really enjoyed sipping on my greens this morning, and I did some little body movements and stretches. It's more that I put that in place and I became consistent over time. That's what matters. It's not the perfection, right? So when we get consistent, that is where the power is. The biggest thing that I've learned, small daily habits transform your life way more than the occasional grand gestures, right? Like I've said, I used to think self-care meant, these big time-consuming things like weekend retreats, spa days, massages, getting your hair done. Well, those are all beautiful, wonderful things, and please do them because they're wonderful. That is not a realistic way to have self-care every single day. I wish it was. I wish that's the life I led, but it's not. It's not for a lot of us. So what actually changed my mood, my energy, and my stress levels? Simple things. Drinking my greens first thing in the morning, getting that water into my body that's nourishing me. Getting outside for 10 minutes minimum a day. Even if it's raining, I find 10 minutes. Stretching before bed and doing my face massage instead of just sitting doom scrolling, right? giving yourself permission to rest without guilt. I'm still working on this one. But self-care isn't selfish, guys. We've talked about this over and over and over again. It is essential. When you take care of yourself, you're not just benefiting you, you're going to start showing up better for everyone around you. Everyone is going to start to benefit because whatever you put in your cup, that's what you're pouring, right? So here's your challenge for the week. I want you to pick one small self-care habit and commit to it for the next 7 days. Just one. Guys, I'm not putting the pressure on you, just one. No perfection. Just show up for yourself in this little teeny tiny way and let those little teeny tiny ways add up. Okay? And if you're not already, please head over to the Life Strategist VIP group over on Facebook, request to join, because we are going to continue to talk about self-care support, and there's ideas in there that are really awesome. You can grab my free self-care checklist from the Facebook group and go through that and say, okay, which habits can I start to implement? Which ones resonate with me? And I also want you to make sure that you have gone in there and tried the Glow Up smoothie recipe, because, guys, nourishing our bodies is a massive part of self-care too. So if this video has resonated with you, please hit like, subscribe, and share, because we all deserve self-care that actually works, and we all deserve to learn these tricks. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. Now, go do that one small thing for yourself today. Love you guys. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of From Chaos to Confidence. I hope you're leaving today with a little more clarity, confidence, and inspiration to take the next step on your journey. Remember, no matter where you are right now, you have the power to transform your life and step into the confidence you deserve. If you loved today's episode, I'd be so grateful if you could leave a review, comment, and share this podcast with others who might need a little boost. Your support helps other women discover this space, and together we can build a community of empowered women who are embracing their true potential. Until next time, keep embracing the chaos and step confidently into the woman you are becoming.